All praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rokakodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and salutation to Allah Hakim doing and pushing this word in all honesty, truth, and sincerity. Shalom Akim. Salaki, 1 second. Let me get my headphones here. But yeah, this goes into the delusions of this place has them, 2/3 of Schitt's Creek. Okay, let me get my headphones in real quick. We'll get into these scriptures. Because when you scriptures, it clearly tells you, let's get into it real quick. Job 12:16. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Okay? So Yahweh Shem Yahushai has, everybody in hand. Alright? His men to do this work. He has the ones out there to deceive. And he has, obviously, of the host of Israel, people out there pushing a different doctrine, which they ought not to push. Okay, so within this hand is all the ones that push it in all honesty, truth, and sincerity, and who the truth is with, and those who are doing it deceitfully. Okay, we're all in the hands of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We're all pawns. All right. So let's jump into the scriptures here. 2 Corinthians. So these 2/3, they're up Schitt's Creek, man. They've been listening to the wrong doctrine, doing the wrong thing. Slack it 1 second. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahushai, the Lord, and ourselves, your servants, for Yahushai's sake. For God, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, have shined in our hearts to give the light of knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Yahushai HaMashiach. Now going into this, as it says, our gospel is hid to them that are lost, and whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them. Okay? So they're blinded by, that wicked ass plantation Christianity, which is not of Yahushai. Okay, it's coming in another name. It's coming in another spirit, but they're using the same book, right? So 2/3, they're walking after the philosophies of this world. The bullshit that they put out there. You could believe on Yahushai and do anything you want, right? When Yahushai clearly told you in Matthew's, let's get it real quick. Matthew chapter 5 and 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Right? So Lord Yahushua Mashiach, he didn't come to destroy the law. He came to fulfill. So what was he doing when he was on this earth? He was doing those things which were written aforetime for our learning. Okay. In fact, when he had placed judgment upon things, he'd use the scriptures. He wouldn't just go by his own, as we would say, your own accord, right? He'd go by the scriptures. As a matter of fact, all the prophets, when they were quoting things, they were quoting things from the Old Testament, right? So, 2/3, they're blinded by, Esau, Edom's philosophy, okay? And like I said, in the New Testament, Romans chapter 15 and 4, these things were written aforetime for our learning. So what were the prophets rehearsing and doing? Jeremiah. So 2/3 they swallowed up that wine, that philosophy of Esau Edom, instead of listening what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has given unto them through the prophets. Okay, Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 7. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that have made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Right? So even 2/3 of our people have joined hand in hand with this bastard, okay? And they have drunken of that, of those philosophies, okay? Yep. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 5. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahweh. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. And 2/3 you join hand in hand with this man. Jeremiah chapter 2 and 33. Why trimmest, let me get that real quick. Solidify what I'm saying. Jeremiah chapter 2 and 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. Right? And you trim your ways to follow after Esau Edom. You join hand in hand with this man. Okay? So you're gonna get the same punishment. Okay? You're gonna get that punishment here, which is that second death. You're gonna have to taste that nuclear destruction. Okay? Let me go over something real quick. 2 Maccabee chapter 6 and verse 1. Not long after this, the king sent a old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God. Right? So this is the same situation what we're finding in this society right now. You got people like Vocab Malone who are doing those hired messengers, those hired counselors come out against us, okay, to compel our people not to go after the ways of Yahweh Shemel Shai, okay. Verse 2, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus, and that in Garizim, so I could pronunciation of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelled in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reviling by the Gentiles, who the lead with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbid. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. And in the day of the king's birth every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat the sacrifices, and when the feast of Barakas was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in Slovakia were compelled to go in procession to Caracas carrying ivory. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifice. And this is what happened with our people, okay? Because, back then and so now, this is when you don't read your history, you don't get a clear understanding of what the enemy might do in the future. Romans 15:4, all right? So the same thing that happened back then is the same thing that's happening now. And you had many wicked Israelites that went out and made a covenant with the heathen, okay? To say, yeah, let's go do those things. First Maccabee chapter 1 and verse 11, in those days went out there, Slovakia, in those days went out there, Slovakia, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let's go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Right? And you see, 2/3 where we're telling them, turn back and serve Yahweh Shem Shai. They find it bitter in the sense that they don't get the same, when you go to Numbers chapter 11, verse 5, it's clearly explaining that, okay? They want to run back to Egypt because they remember the leeks, the garlics, but what, they forgot the oppression, they forgot that they're in captivity, right? So this is 2/3. They go running on to Esau, Edom, instead of running on to Yahweh Shem Shai, right? Verse 12, so this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Right? This is 2/3 of our people. They're caught up in the the mentality, the philosophies of this place. Right? So this is why they're going to taste that second death. This is why Yahweh Shem Shai is going to do away with them. Okay? This is why also it tells you, be not concerned about them that, shall taste of that second death. Let me get that real quick. Because that also was supposed to be up in, right here. Let me go into Psalms 106. Slovakia, 1 second. Psalms 106. I don't make this too long. Psalms 106 and 35. But they were mingled among the heathen, and learned their works, and they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and daughters unto devils. Right, and this is going after these nations' philosophies, which the Lord told you not to go after. Told you not to take part in them, or take part in them. Okay, which you have done. And now you got these wicked ass T.D. Jakes and all the rest of them preaching this false philosophy because they've drunken that wine of Esau Edom. Jeremiah chapter 21 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pastor, saith Yahweh. Okay, let's go to this word woe. Woe, woe, woe. Let me see something real quick. Get some understanding of this. The sense of crying out after. Passionate cry of grief or despair. Okay, so woe be unto the pastors, man, that's been telling lies, guiding our people in the wrong direction. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to destroy you because what? You've drunken of that cup. You've drunken of the philosophies of Babylon. Okay? Jeremiah 23 and verse 2. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and ye have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, saith Yahweh. Right? Because the Lord told us strictly in Ezekiel to go in those gaps. Okay? And you have not done that. All you've done is sit in those little whorehouses, telling our people lies. Which, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, it's like he seeth that, and he knoweth what you do. Okay? All those philosophies that you've been telling the people, believe on JC, and you'll be alright. You can eat pork, the laws are done away with, all the laws, statutes, commandments are done away with. Come as you be, don't worry. You could be a homo, you could be anything you want in this world, right? When clearly the scriptures are clearly telling you, don't perform those actions, don't do those things. Because if you do those things, I'm not going to save you, okay? There's a way that I've commanded you to walk. And that way is the things which are pleasing unto the Heavenly Father. When you go back to Matthew chapter 5 and 17, he didn't come to destroy the law, but to fulfill, to do all those things in the past before, 70 AD, or Salakia, do all those things in the past before he came as Yahweh Shai, right? He fulfilled all those things in the past, and he fulfilled those things which was written in the scriptures as Yahweh Shai. Even Peter had told him, Lord, was that Matthew chapter 16? And he said, nah, man, I gotta go through this. I gotta go through this, okay? Right here. Yeah, Peter, Matthew chapter 16 and 22. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Satan, thou art an offense unto me, for thou servest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. Okay? Because he always shot right here in verse 21, he was telling him what he's going to have to go through. Okay? And that's another thing too. We can't curve the hand of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai himself knew that. So he said, no, man, I gotta go through what I gotta go through. And the same thing with us. So, these 2/3 out here, they clearly don't have an understanding of what's happening. They're letting these pastors lead them down the wrong path. Okay? That's why we must stay in the spirit, and we must continue to serve Yahweh Shem Shai and have that fear of Yahweh Shem Shai. Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 32. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith Yahweh, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies. That's right. Slack, let me continue. And by their lightness, yet I have sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith Yahweh. Right, because they've been telling them lies, man. They've not been telling the people the right thing, the right direction to be walking. Okay? Verse 36, and the burden of Yahweh shall ye mention no more, For every man's word shall be his burden, for ye have perverted the words of the living God of Yahweh, for the living power of Yahweh of us of hosts, our power. Slakia. Yeah, you perverted the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. When we tell you about the microchip, the MTOB, you guys are out there running around playing like this is some game. Okay? But like I said, 2/3 you've been sent those strong delusions, man. You up shit's creek. You're not listening to the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, those words that, the true prophets have been telling. But you've been listening to what? The false prophets. The same ones that have not gone up into the gap. Going back to T.D. Jakes and them. Let me get this real quick. Ezekiel chapter 13 and verse 5. Oh, ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of Yahweh. Right, you have not told them the truth. The truth. You've been telling them false bullshit shit of your mind, man. Just to get that money, just to get that bag. And when time comes of the MOTB, what are you going to tell your congregation then? Same bullshit of your mind? Or what Yahweh Hashem Yahushai has pronounced in the scriptures? Well, guess what? You ain't going to have the understanding. Okay? You don't want to have the understanding to tell your people what's up, because the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is not working with you. Okay? The Lord already deemed you guys as false prophets. The deceived and the deceiver is. You're already up shit's creek. You already drank of that cup. And now everything that you're spewing out of your mouth is just hogwash. You gone to that, what do you call it? Wicked ass cemetery school. The same shit that vocab went into. Okay? Ezekiel chapter 13 and verse 3. Thus saith Yahweh power, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. Right? We're going into the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We're giving you what Yahweh Hashem Yahushai has said. Okay? You guys are going off. You're going in another direction. You're not even giving the people the words. You're telling them about your college experience, what happened in high school. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Okay? You're not filling them with the fear of the Lord. Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel. And that's another thing too. You're not letting the world know that, hey, look, this word is only for the Israelites. It's not for the whole world. And chiefly, this word is only for the elect of Israel. Continuing, and speak with my words unto them. Right. We're not just pulling this out of our ass. This is something that we're just making up on the spot. Right? Because the Lord, you have to have the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua to speak these things. If you don't, you're just pulling shit out your ass. Okay? And the Lord already told you, the prophet that speaks a thing in my name and it doesn't come to pass, don't fear. Everything that we're telling you right now, starting with our apostle elders, is come to pass, man. Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 30. Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following Salakia, take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. Right? And this is going after the philosophies. This is a drinking of their cup. The Lord said not to do that. Don't inquire after their shit, man. Okay? Because the Lord is a jealous God, a jealous power. Okay? And he's already cut the path for you. a righteous path. He don't want you to link up with these people and do as they do. As a matter of fact, where's that scripture? Let me see something real quick. What the hell? Yep, Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. He separated from us from them. Okay? Leviticus 20 and 26, if I'm not mistaken. He separated us from them. He chose a path for us, man. He doesn't want nothing to do with these people. Right? And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. Leviticus 20 and 26. Right. Okay. So you're not supposed to go after these other gods. You're not supposed to be following after these other ways. Okay. That's why 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 13. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. And as it tells you right here, the world is created for few, and it's going into the elect. They're not going to taste of that second death. Revelation chapter 20 verse 14, if I'm not mistaken, and right here verse 12. They're not going to taste of that second death. Okay, so we're not going to inquire how the unrighteous, ungodly shall be punished. Even 2/3 of our people. We're going to stay steadfast on looking how to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Going back to Deuteronomy chapter 12 and 30. Right? We're not going to inquire after the ways of the wicked. Oh yeah, 2nd Thessalonians, real quick. Let's get these scriptures up real quick. Last, what was that? 2nd Thessalonians. Here, and let me get this other scripture real quick. Deuteronomy. Oops. Jeremiah 44. Real quick. 16 and 17. So going back into this, the Lord has sent these people strong delusions, man. So you got the 2/3 on their path because the Lord has set them on that path. All right. Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 16. As for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name, once again, in the name of Yahweh, well, Yahushua, of course, in the name of Yahweh, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then we had plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. Okay, so this is what 2/3 are saying right now. This is why Jeremiah chapter 7, 16, right? It says, pray not for these people. You don't see what they do in the streets of Jerusalem, in the cities of Judah, in the streets of Jerusalem. Children gather wood, the father's kingdom of fire, of the phrase, and women need their dough to the Queen of Heaven, man. Make cakes to the Queen of Heaven. So the Lord is telling you, like, yo, you see these people right here, these 2/3? They will not listen to you, man. They're not going to hearken. That's the same thing what the Lord did to the heart of Pharaoh. The same thing he's doing to these 2/3, man. They've taken that cup, drank it, got drunk, and they won't listen to us. Bottom line. That's why in Ezekiel chapter 2 and verse, what was that, 4 and 5, and Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 33 tells you what it tells you, man. Going back to that, they're going to have to know by that death, okay, by that pain. So that's not our fault, man. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, all we're supposed to do is go out there and preach the word, put up these videos, sound that alarm. Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1, cry aloud, spare not. Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. Going back to Job chapter 12 and 16. And definitely they have believed a lie. They have drinking of that cup, man. They don't want to wake up. They don't care, okay? And you got 2/3 of Israel. Some of them crept in unawares, and guess what? Let me get this last scripture. Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 11. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. Okay, and that's, 2/3 they come creeping in unawares, climbing up some other way, and the Lord boots them out. And then they go back onto that plantation Christianity, and they go back onto the ways of the world, okay? Instead of striving onto the truth, onto death. So, wicked ass 2/3, they've drunken of that cup, man, okay? The delusions of this place has 2/3 up Shit's Creek, man. Okay, once again, the delusions of this place has them 2/3 up Shit Creek. Okay, should be the delusions of the, you know what, let me take that out. The delusions of this place has 2/3 up Shit's Creek, because Psalms was at 147, 19 and 20. We know this word is only unto who? The house of Israel. Okay. So yeah, man, I just wanted to make that real quick. Because, you got people like Vocab, TD Jakes, fuck Vocab, throw Vocab to the side, Apostle, Geo Jennings, TD Snakes, David Lynn, all these, these guys are causing our people to err because they have drunken of that juice. They've gone to that cemetery school, they learned the wrong way. They think they got the knowledge, but they don't got the knowledge. They don't got the wisdom. They don't got the understanding. They weren't given that gift. Okay? So with that, all praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And peace and salutation to all the Akim doing and pushing this word in all honesty, truth, and sincerity worldwide. And a sincere shalom to the elect. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13 to you all. Lord willing, to the next time, I hope you're edified. Wa abad babad. Shalom.